America, immigration, you know what I'm saying. So have you ever wondered or ever noticed when people don't share a common value system or common values, when they don't share the same story or even the same rules, right? Everything falls apart, okay? And we see that happening in families, we see that happening in communities, we see that happening in schools, and we see that happening in nations, right? It happens in nations too. And America is no different, okay? We can only stand as one people when a shared moral foundation and a shared history is there, right? It binds us together. Question, I mean, again, what happens when we lose that foundation? When we forget our story, when we forget our common history, right? Listen to a warning from one of our founders, John Adams. He had said, our Constitution was made for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other, right? George Washington echoed that same truth in his farewell address when he said that of all the dispositions and habits which lead to political posterity, religion and morality are indispensable, right? Indispensable supports. And I mean, they knew that without a moral framework that America could not endure. A Constitution wasn't made for that. This is what makes America work the way that it does. Our system only stands when the people have a shared, common moral foundation. You cannot simply bring people from entirely different social, cultural, or economic backgrounds, skip all the hard work, right, of citizenship and assimilation, and expect that we're going to get the same results, right? Immigration must be deliberate. It's slow. It's systematic. It takes people for them to let go of some of the destructive customs that they had come from while preserving the best part of their heritage, right? I mean, that's part of what America is, right? Let me ask you again. Do you think that we're teaching people how to truly become American today, especially, with all the illegal immigration? Are we skipping the hard part? And again, assimilation is more than values as well, right? It's also a history, a common history. To be American means to learn our history, to embrace our shared story, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, right? That story binds us across backgrounds and generations. People divided by rival histories cannot remain as one nation. And again, people know that. That's another thing happening, but again, we'll talk about that in a different one, right? I mean, when we chronicle the many threads of America, right? When you think about Native American peoples that gave wisdom of the land, they taught settlers to grow crops, they modeled different forms of self-government in the Iroquois Confederacy. You look at the Polish officers that trained our Washington's troops, right? Tedinsky, I can never remember his name. The Chinese who labored railroads, the Irish, the Germans that fielded the farms, factories. You look at the indentured servants that sold years of their lives for a chance at freedom. And even those brought here in chains, right? Chattel slavery, through the evils of that slavery. When freedom came, they overwhelmingly chose to stay here, right? They claimed America as home. They added their stamp of endurance, brilliance, and sacrifice to our nation, right? Every heritage brought its strength together. They wove the fabric of we the people. And we're not just a conglomerate of illegals, a hodgepodge of people, immigration coming in here. Immigration isn't supposed to be lawlessness, right? It's deliberate. It's how we fortify our nation through laws and education and through assimilation. If we abandon that, we don't just welcome, people. We welcome dissolution. We invite failures that have destroyed other nations, and we're seeing it across Europe now. We open the door for Marxist and socialist ideologies to seep into our republic with impunity, right? Again, we're seeing that. And we have to ask ourselves, what kind of America do we want? What kind of America do we want our children to inherit? One with order, laws, shared values, or one that dissolves into chaos? That's up to us. Here's the truth. Democracy on its own does not work. We people are selfish, we are corrupt, we're wicked, right? What holds our republic together is this Judeo-Christian ethic. It always has. The renewing of our minds, the surrender of our wills to God, right? God the Father, and living out of Scripture. Proverbs 14:31 declares, right? Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to its people. This is a foundational thing. This is the inheritance. This is what has allowed Americans' constitutional republic to endure when so many others have fallen. And we have to continue that. And again, does that mean that everyone has to be Christian? No. I'm saying that is the foundation of our Constitution. Those are the things that help bind us, right? That you can't murder, that you can't steal, right? That you can't do these things, invade other people's personal thoughts and other people's autonomy, right? And we're not teaching those things anymore. Again, when it comes to immigration, we have to be very, very careful, right? And right, we have legal immigration, illegal immigration. We have people who come here as refugees. There's different statuses, and to throw them all in to one little piece, the way that we've been doing, is why we're seeing the chaos that we're seeing. And you don't ever let people go and try and knock us down for that. It is imperative that we keep that. And those people that have come here legally, they understand that as well. They understand that, hey, there are some things that are amazing about my heritage and about the country that I come from, and they want to strengthen those things, and the things that are terrible they need to let go. And here in America, if we continue to allow these people to come in here and eat away at the foundation of who we are, the foundation of our history, like I said, it's a whole nother thing, but you all know what I'm talking about. It's happening now. These people who are trying to tear the threads of our common history apart as though we have parallel histories instead of one history that makes America great, then we will see chaos, and we will see a country, we will see our children inherit a country that dissolves into nothingness, into chaos, and it will no longer be here. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. Sorry. Bye.